Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Where are we here? Friday, TGIF. Actually, I did like a 2-hour daily brief with the kids here today. Brief? Yeah, right. But I take Thursdays off, and Julian actually did a pretty solid report yesterday, actually getting in touch with his own personal trading and his own personal journey. I was really proud of him for his conversation he had with the community yesterday, maturing as a trader. Today being the 15th, of course, I had the day off yesterday. I had to make up for being quiet for a full day, so 2-hour daily brief. Brian sure loves the sound of his own voice. But through that daily brief, we actually had a really cool presentation by one of our site OGs, Shane Meow, on how he believes it's time TRI gets a non-farm payrolls, NFP. No, that's not it. Non-fungible token, NFT. That's it. Just kidding. He really wants us to get one of these NFTs going as sort of like a token of achievement at TRI, which I kind of like. It's not a bad idea. So the only problem is we want to keep the hell away from SEC and exchanges and any monetary sort of side to this. So that's sort of the dilemma that we're dealing with. How do you make this sort of an icon without it actually having some sort of silly monetary value? Anyway, well, that's what we're sort of kicking around today in our group conversations on the site. And if anything, I really like it because what should happen here is the community itself should become like part of a stakeholder of this entity, and make sure it has like a vested interest in this place sticking around. So I really like that angle as well. Anyway. Broader sort of market message. If anything, you have to get a little bit concerned when you see breadth look like this. If we roll over here and M out and go through this 40 line, I guess, off of this breadth indicator, that'll be a big, massive M and blech. As I'm building out these tools, I'm building out templates, and when we get this thing up and running, we're pretty close. We had an objective for January 1st, but we're so close right now. I'm certainly not bitching, but this would be kind of one of the templates where are there some warning signs? Clearly the bond market is not happy here, and I think that's actually what's going to derail this whole sort of risk market asset bull market that we've been in. So a little bit of warning sign coming out of the interest rate market. Interesting how the major crypto is also giving us a little bit of a warning sign. So interesting. I've always thought that crypto was a really good leading indicator, especially the big crypto, for the risk market. So I do find that fascinating, especially given what we see happening in the market today. Junior market, same sort of thing. If we go and make a big honkin' M here, hasn't broken, but you can see all these. Look at the Dow actually is Ming out here a little bit. Actually, I thought we had a Dow theory sell signal there the other day, but that evaporated. That actually surprised me a little. You can see Europe starting to give a little bit of warning signs. Be careful. And the commodity countries still look relatively uppy, but man, they're damn sensitive. And I think the gold's getting punched here today. So remember we saw how that oil was acting recently. That might explain a little bit of why Toronto was so damn strong there, because oil just launched itself higher. Let's see, who's actually leading the charge in Canada right now? We got, what's this say? Inter-Rent Real Estate Investment Trust. Yeah, that looks horrible. Oh, yuck. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't want to touch that. That's the strongest stock in Canada. Oh, be leery. Anyway, you can see this just an awesome platform Stuart has built here. It's damn impressive. Damn impressive. All right, so I won't go into too much details there. Anyway, point of the matter here is, like I said, we're getting a little bit of warning signs from the bond market. Bond market's not. Where's bonds? Bonds. Here we are. Not overly happy. Interesting how that's sort of spilling out over into the stock market, and what's sort of going on. Why would this look like this? Well, the political landscape within the United States of America, which is sort of the world's economic engine, it's changing here. We spend, I might argue, past 4 years, but unfortunately, I think Obama kind of shot his wad there with the whole healthcare kind of push there in the first couple of years of administration. Then the remaining were just sort of, got to keep this sort of fugazi going kind of thing. And then, we had 4 years of Mr. Wonderful there. Mr. Wonderful actually probably set the United States of America up, globally, if you will, very well. So you as U.S. citizens, ironically enough, you'll probably look back years down the road. Why is the U.S. dollar so strong? Why is the U.S. Fundamentals picture so much better than the rest of the world, which of course is going to piss off a lot of people that think otherwise right now, but that's what I honestly think right now. And you're going to look back and you're going to attribute it to Mr. Trump, so go figure. Anytime market's smiling at us, of course we have to be a bit leery. This is also to Leap's options expiry, which in itself is a huge transference of wealth. And we went through the daily brief. Some of the interesting messages, not nearly as blatant, the insider manipulation as it was last January. Remember, cool Kelly Loeffler, thank God they did not reaffirm crony capitalism there. But remember her, she was caught insider selling a ton of stock last year. I think a lot of insiders dumped a lot of stock last January. I don't see as much of a blatant message as it was last year. Last January, it was just brutal how blatant it was. But I didn't see that this year. So, if anything, I suppose that's a good sign. But anyway, M's, be careful. Remember we showed you the breadth indicator. It's looking a bit sketchy now. Of course, I've been squawking about how structurally I do like U.S. dollar. Interesting how U.S. dollar is having a pretty damn strong day here following Mr. Biden's speech last night. Stocks, risk assets, not so happy. I get the impression this is a bit of a risk-off proxy here. The air's coming out a little bit out of the sort of speculative part of the market, if you will, or a little, Russell 2000 underperforming the Dow. Hasn't emmed out. Maybe we just do like a fractal here and then work our way down and clean up. But, on balance today, all this is just, maybe we ought to cool our jets for a little bit. We went on a tear there. Jesus, every single day, banging out doubles. It was ridiculous. I came within like a nickel of banging out another double on one that was running this morning, but it as soon as the stock market started to roll over here, it sort of said, I'm done rallying for now. I'm just going to cool my jets. Getting a bit of a look at that. We might actually even get a engulfing bar here out of the oil today. Imagine that, eh? Look at that son of a gun. So outside downside reversal, not quite a key reversal. It'd be interesting to look at the deferred contracts. I've been scratching my head. I can't figure out why the hell this oil market's rallying, especially with Mr. Tesla and all that shit. Who's buying gasoline-powered vehicles these days anyway? But let's see how this finishes. Actually, their day's probably winding up soon. Of course, we got a holiday weekend here as well, with a big inauguration coming up next week. So it's going to be a funny few days ahead of us anyway. Get ready, crypto kids. I'm sure there's going to be some fireworks here. Risk off. Actually, a little double top there on the S&Ps. Maybe a bearish engulfing bar. Big breakout on U.S. dollar index. Russell 2000 underperforming. Oh, what a surprise. Crypto's off? Same sort of thing. I actually like Bitcoin as an ultimate leading indicator in the risk space. People hate when I say that. But, we go over and look at risk on, risk off. Sure feels like the risk oners are taking a bit of a pause. Risk off, interesting how the bonds, they want to rally here, but there's so much downside pressure. Interesting how the gold just can't buy a friend in here. And our silver trade, it's looking kind of sketchy now. So, I'm a commodity bear by nature anyway. For the next 15 years. Who knows how the hell this is going to play out, but I do like that idea that Democrat president, end of demographic cycle, Jupiter Saturn cross, time for the US dollar to pick itself up and rally. And I also like the fact that there's a shitload of US dollar denominated bonds by international issuers, and they must buy US dollars when they pay those debts back or roll them over, which might create a really interesting short squeeze scenario within the US dollar itself. And I got a funny feeling that to a certain degree that's also what's going on here too. The whole damn world is bearish of the US dollar, so what a perfect asymmetrical trade. If this head and shoulders does come in, man, this thing could ratchet. And if you want a historical study, between now and broiler chickens on Sunday, go and look what the US dollar index did through the period of 1980 and about 1981-82. I think you will be quite shocked at how similar this image looks. And then what happened afterward? Get ready, world. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. So for the corn, it's the rest of the risk market. And crypto in general, it's the rest of the risk market. I actually think, and it's funny, we were walking through the, I've done this with you guys even on the public videos. What are you supposed to think when you see the market smiling at you? Well, kind of did the same thing up here. Actually, we even did big honking smiles and then little itty bitty smiles too. And then kaboom! And ironically enough, overnight, I think that's exactly what just happened again. Look at that. Bang, bang, bang. And little M's within M's. Nice little 2-to-1. Bang, bang. You're done. Merry Christmas. So, and what's so cool about this is check it out. I mean, it's so cliche. I think this is traders. CME guys and institutional Goldman Sachs, they're just fucking around with the crypto kids right now and just breaking their hearts. Right, left, and center, 2-to-1. And then bottom, turn back up. 2-to-1. Bottom, turn back up. I don't think this is an accident. But the problem here is this is a massive trading range. And crypto kids, you might just get your lunch handed to you as they zip this thing in and around this range. It's huge. It's like 10 grand. It's like 2 costs of production right now. Are you buying value up here? Jesus, the cost of production. It's 2 costs of production, just this trading range here. Crazy. And then also sort of same message on Ethereum. Ramp the market up, break the kids' hearts, rally it back up into a very normal shorting location. Was this a Gertley harmonic setup here today? It might, I wouldn't be surprised if the Gertley people did hit that. Take maybe partial profits on 2-to-1s, stop to scratch, and if this is the top and see you later, they're laughing, they're short, Merry Christmas. Because this thing does have a big fundamental event coming up, I think they get their little 2-to-1s and they'll get stopped out on the remaining, but who knows, that's just my opinion. What should happen here is this is just like the corn, you can see the trading range that's established, you can see the triangle. They're probably going to break it about 2/3 of the apex of these triangles. That's usually how this goes. I don't know whether I've done the math correctly on the exact scaling of the triangle. I just eyeballed this, so it's not specific. And you remember, on the corn last week, actually, we went up and then came and then crapped out. You don't know how this is going to look like. But my hunch is the resolution and real sort of message of the market is going to be somewhere around here. And that's about the 17th. So today's the 15th, and you know, crypto, it likes to take Saturdays off. So don't be surprised if, you know, New York session, you can see we're just parked in a range. Over the next day or so, we're probably going to play around in here. Coming out of Sunday, very typical. Thing is, Monday's a holiday. So remember, around holiday events, we often get some pretty screwy action in crypto. And then, of course, the adults come back Tuesday, and then Biden's inauguration is Wednesday. So this is going to be a really messy period here anyway. How does this look on the other side of it? Who knows? And really, I'm not really even interested in predicting this. It's a mug's game. It'll just do what it's going to do. What you have to see is sort of the forest through the trees. I mean, are you an investor? I don't know. It's up to you. If you're a trader, fine. You know, you can go hunt those lower time frame levels. You know what you're doing. You're following a plan, blah, 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 blah. If you're Mr. Investor, you know, do you really want to come and play up top here? You see where reload zones are. And I've said publicly, I like the Ethereum story going forward, story for the future. I like the long-term secular turn in this. I mean, gee whiz, that's a big honking base. If I can get dips down into this level, great. Love buys. But up here, bleh. That's really how I see a lot of the market. Stock market, crypto market, anything risk related. It looks, I mean, most things. There are names that we trade that don't look like this. But most things in the market look a hell of a lot like this. So an old timer like me, I just got to leave this shit alone and just let everything settle down. Maybe in 6 months I'll come back and buy it all back. Okay, so there's your summary. Happy-go-lucky. PMA for the win. You know, I sure hope you paid yourself on this big run-up. Big celestial events. I mean, probably, you know, historic. Remember this to tell your grandkids these stories. But for God's sakes, don't get caught bag holding here, eh? You know, I hope you paid yourself, because it was one hell of a run here. And if you're playing the altcoin space, you know, if you start seeing M's come in here, it's just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. Be damn careful. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the rant at that. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.